Hello friends, and also, hello enemies. Welcome back to Weekly Allowance, YouTube's only YouTube show. Today we are looking at the long-awaited MAFEX Rogue. It is storming outside, so you might hear some thunder. You might also hear my dog whine. You might hear a lot of things. So anyway, it's been a long road to get to here. This was a much wanted figure that sat in limbo for a very long time, and then tariffs put it into an either further limbo. Pre-ordered it from Ami, had to cancel because of the tariffs. Tariff restrictions went away. Was thinking about pre-ordering it again with Ami. Tariffs came back. It's the exciting world we live in nowadays. So exciting. You never know what's around the corner. Keeps you on your toes. Oh, and salted caramel oolong. So we've got your standard MAFEX packaging, big window in the front. Not big enough to see all of Rogue, but most of her's there. Very comic booky, halftone shading. Rogue colors throughout, product images, and these are, I think, actual product shots, not just renders, which we have discussed before that I do appreciate. Much rather have product photography than renders, but that's just my opinion. So let's crack this open. It's been a long road. MAFEX has steadily been filling out their roster of X-Men characters. Honestly surprised it took them so long to get to Rogue, and that the Rogue took this long. Because they announced it forever ago. I mean, like a long time ago. To be honest, I didn't think we'd ever see it. And now here she is, which I know makes someone in this household happy. She actually seems to not come with as much stuff as I thought she did, but then again, what would Rogue come with? She's not really an accessory-heavy character. And this is interesting as well. Apparently there's a way to make sure that your action figure is authentic from Medicom MAFEX. They want you to know that it's authentic. They want you to know how to learn that it is authentic. Which I don't know. I haven't really been made aware of many MAFEX knockoffs, but maybe it's a thing. I mean, I'm sure it's a thing. I just don't know how prevalent it is. Let's get this plastic off of her. All right, so let's go over her real quick. So she looks fantastic, except one of the first things I noticed when I got her out of the package is this knee is a little wonky. I actually don't think it's the knee. I think it's this calf right here. You see how this one is kind of tight against that knee joint? This one's more splayed out a little bit. You can actually see the joint peg. That's how spread apart it is. So I don't know why that would be, but it should be tighter there, I think. And I feel like the calf doesn't really want to meet the knee as completely as this one does. And so it puts her a little bit off balance. I can't really get her to stand up too well. It's fine right now, but I kind of have to work at it. It's just a kind of gappy right there, which on like a Marvel Legends or whatever wouldn't be a big deal because that's like a $20-something figure, but this is much higher of a price, and so you notice things like that. That's pretty gappy. I can see right into where that pin is. But so far, looking at the rest of her, she looks fantastic. The face in particular is very clean, and I really like that the skin on her is, the skin and the hair actually, they're matte, whereas the rest of her is shiny, like especially the metallic part of her outfit, but also these yellows, very shiny. There's matte on the yellow on the front of her costume too. Just a lot of different nice textures going on. And you've got the jacket. We'll get to that in a moment. That's a tricky subject. But yeah, her face is awesome. Just perfectly done. Beautiful sculpt, perfect paint, nice red lips. She's got the Taylor Swift red lip thing going on. I'm not a Swiftie, but that's her thing, right? Red lips, I don't know. Lovely hair sculpt. I love how the white is swooping into the brown. Yeah, beautifully sculpted hair. Hair's gonna be an issue, I think, when posing, but we will get to that in a moment. Yeah, great work on the costume. Everything is super clean. The belt is interesting because it can't be taken off. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, you could maybe find a way, but it is glued down here and it's pegged in here. It doesn't seem to affect articulation, but it is an interesting decision to have that locked in. I really appreciate this sculpt because in a lot of, especially the X-Men characters, and a lot of sculpts for the X-Men characters, like from Marvel Legends, it's just like straight up a naked woman basically, but with clothes painted on. But here you have actual like wrinkles to denote that this is clothing while still being really skin tight. I mean, you can see her abs, and then in the rear you've got kind of a relaxed fit with some more clothing wrinkles there and some really nice shading. Actually, I feel weird calling attention to the shading on the butt, but it's good. What can I say? Just a little bit of shadowing there. But yeah, everything's looking pretty clean. X logo on the jacket, tiny little rivets. The stitching on it is a little bit rough. It's hard to get small stitching on something so little. Now the jacket, you know, it's made of pleather, and pleather will eventually disintegrate. So that's unfortunate. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time, especially if you're moving this around a lot. So in time, the coating on this will flake off, and I imagine these X symbols will flake off as well. And you're probably going to want to maybe repaint it this dark color, and maybe have to repaint the X symbol on it, or like put a tiny patch on there or something. But that's for the future. Yeah, a fairly simple figure, but beautifully made and very nice to look at. Not in a weird way. Let's be respectful. Let's take a look at articulation. So the hair is big. The hair's big. There's no getting around that. It gets in the way of head movement, especially when you've got this jacket on. But she does have a nice neck joint. I do love a neck joint. Looks like she is pretty limber even with this jacket on. Yeah, that's a nice smooth joint. Ooh, she can do a lot of stuff. They definitely left enough slack in the jacket to have her be able to move her arms, which is great because Rogue is good at punching. I thought that this was a joint up here because there's a cut there, but there's nothing really happening when I move it. There is a joint right here at the waist, which is why I was confused that this belt was permanently attached, because it seems like it would get in the way, but I don't think it does. There's enough slack there as well. Yeah, the joints are nice and smooth. This leg still bothers me. There's just something wrong with it. But yeah, nice smooth joints, nice articulation. I do wish she could look up a little bit more. Just there's no way with this hair. But she is a flying character, so you want to look up when you're flying. So yeah, very nice, easy to move. Like I said, the only thing that's bothering me a little articulation-wise is the fact that she can't look up. But I mean, if you're going to have a Rogue, especially in this style with this haircut, what else can you do unless you make it like the Spin Masters Aloy figure, where each strand of hair is movable, which becomes a mess pretty quick. Not to say that Spin Masters did it poorly. I think that Aloy figure is really great, actually. And like I said, I love that metallic green. That is so nice to look at. Green and yellow, not my favorite color scheme, but Rogue makes it work somehow. All right, accessories, she comes with them. Nothing in the way of like a weapon or anything, because she is the weapon. We've got hands. We've got so many hands. Every hand you could possibly want under the sun. We've got splayed hands. And they come on these pegs, which I love. Love it when hands come easily sorted on these little plastic pegs. Fists, bare fists. More splayed, kind of stop hands. And then relaxed hands. Those are all her ungloved hands, but this is Rogue. Her thing is being covered from head to toe because otherwise it could be a problem for people. So then we get those same hands in glove form. We've got the gloved fists attached to her. So in lieu of those on the peg, we have these gloved fists holding another glove. So you pop one of these off, put one of these on, put a bare hand on the other hand. You can have her degloving. Also, don't look up degloving. If you don't know what that is, don't look it up. I'm not responsible for what you learned today. Then she comes with 2 extra head portraits. So as you can see, she is fixed with an angry / determined expression. And here you have 2 different expressions. The hair is the same. The headband is the same, but here she is smiling, she's pleased, she's happy, and here she is angry, determined, in fight mode. I love the gritted teeth, some tiny detail. Just like that head sculpt, these are beautiful, and the paint is flawless. She's got a really cool cat eye going on, and once again, got to shout out the hair sculpt, which is beautiful. Paint on that is amazing as well. It looks like the white was a totally different piece, which is a good way to make sure there's no bleed. Yeah, she looks fantastic. And as far as switching out everything, these gloves are actually 2 pieces. You've got this collar type thing there. So when it comes off, it'll be in 2 pieces. Be careful because it's very small. Want to be very gentle because these joints are tiny. And I don't think she comes with any extra joints. So if you are putting on a gloved version, keep this little cuff thingy on. Ooh, if you can. It's kind of hard to put a new hand on and keep the cuff on. Like I said, these joints are very small and they're kind of short. So when you're done with one hand, you can kind of pop it on this peg. You can pop the cuff on there too and keep it nice and safe. That's why I like these. It also prevents shrinkage. Switch out the head. Oop. Got kind of an angled dumbbell there. Once again, be gentle when switching out the head because even that joint is pretty small. So in addition, you do get a stand, which is great because Rogue can fly. So you can put her in some flying poses. You've got the stand, you've got the rod, and then you've got these little attachments too, so you can use whatever you want to put her in the air. And then when you get her jacket off, you can see the rest of the costume underneath. It's a little bit awkward how these straight lines can be shifted out of whack, but it's not so awkward that it's actually bothersome, you know? But otherwise you get some good, look at the articulation here, butterfly joint with these like floating pieces to fill the gaps. Yellow ends here where it begins the nice metallic green. So yeah, even once that jacket disintegrates, you can still have a really nice Rogue figure. So let's see how she stacks up with some other figures. Here is another MAFEX figure. This is MAFEX Gambit. Can he stand up? Let's see. Yeah, these MAFEX figures, their feet are a little bit small. Feet are a little small. That's also where the stands come in handy. But they look pretty good together. Here is Mezco Wolverine. Mezco in a little bit of a different scale, obviously, but they still look good together. Here is a Marvel Legends Carol Danvers. So Hasbro figures typically run a little bit bigger and thicker than this. This is more in line with the size of a MAFEX figure like Rogue. I don't know why she especially is made in this way, but she does match up quite nicely scale-wise with Rogue. And here are two more Marvel Legend Rogues. This one's a little bit more in line with the look of this one. Got the same kind of belt and jacket. This is the 97 Rogue. A little bit different color jacket, different color headband. A lot of Rogue. That's a lot of Rogue. So as you can see, the MAFEX one is in a slightly different scale, just smaller overall. These have the plastic jackets, which will stand the test of time for 1,000 years or more, but this pleather is not going to last. It does look nice though. So yeah, this Rogue has been a long time in the making. A long time in the waiting. A few years, a few tariffs, but we finally got her. Still waiting on the Mythic Legion's Rising Suns wave though. Any day now. Any day. We haven't even gotten a shipping notification for that, but we got this Rogue 4 days after ordering it from an import site. I'm trying not to complain too much, but it's just like, I see everyone else with a bear, and I want a bear. I think we will literally be the last people to get our Rising Suns figures. But that's a discussion for a different time. Likes and subscribes are very much appreciated. Comments are more than welcome. And I will see you guys on the next one.